Hey guys, welcome back to Life and Bullshit. Let me ask you something. Have you ever stumbled across an old picture of yourself, maybe on Facebook or buried somewhere in your camera roll? And instead of thinking, wow, I looked so young, you found yourself thinking, God, I miss that person. Not because you looked better, not because life was perfect, but because you remember how you felt. You laughed easier. You didn't carry the weight of everyone's schedules around in your head. You weren't constantly wondering what was for dinner, whether someone had a doctor's appointment, if the laundry was done, or why your phone had 47 unread notifications. You were just you. And somewhere along the way, life happened. Marriage happened. Kids happened. Careers happened, bills happened, responsibilities happened, and little by little, without anyone noticing, pieces of us quietly slipped into the background. Nobody really warns you about that part of adulthood. People tell you having children changes your life. People tell you marriage takes work. People tell you getting older happens fast. But nobody really tells you that one day you'll look in the mirror and wonder, when did I become this version of myself? Because it doesn't happen overnight. It happens one responsibility at a time, one sacrifice at a time, one season at a time, until suddenly you're introducing yourself by your responsibilities instead of your passions. You're someone's mom, someone's husband, someone's wife, someone's employee, someone's caregiver, someone everybody depends on. Those are beautiful titles, but they aren't your entire identity. Sometimes I catch myself wondering, what did I even do before kids? Seriously, what occupied my brain all day? Did I really have free time? Because now I walk into the kitchen 6 times before remembering why I went in there in the first place. I hide in the pantry to eat snacks. I get excited when someone cancels plans. And if I get 10 uninterrupted minutes to drink a hot cup of coffee, I'm basically on vacation. Life has a funny way of changing what luxury looks like. But here's what I've realized. I don't actually miss my old life. I love my family. I love my children. I wouldn't trade this life for anything. What I miss are pieces of myself. The version of me that laughed without checking the clock. The version of me that could spend hours listening to music. The version of me that dreamed big without immediately thinking about money, schedules, or whether someone needed me. The version of me that wasn't so serious. And for a long time, I actually felt guilty admitting that, because I thought, if I love my life, why do I miss who I used to be? But those two things aren't opposites. You can be deeply grateful and still grieve parts of yourself. Those things can exist together. Maybe that's why old songs hit so hard, or why certain smells instantly take you back, or why finding an old sweatshirt in the back of your closet somehow makes you emotional. It's not really about the song, or the sweatshirt, or the picture. It's because, for just a second, you remember what it felt like to be that person, and something inside you whispers, she's still here. I don't think we lose ourselves all at once. I think we slowly stop making room for ourselves. Life gets louder. Responsibilities get heavier. The calendar fills up. The mental load grows. And eventually, the person we used to be gets buried underneath everything we have to be. But buried isn't the same as gone. Maybe finding ourselves again isn't some dramatic life transformation. Maybe it starts with something really small. Listening to music you haven't heard in years. picking up an old hobby, calling a friend you've been meaning to call, going for a walk without your phone, laughing until your stomach hurts, doing something simply because it reminds you of who you are, outside of what everyone expects from you. Maybe we're not trying to become someone new. Maybe we're just trying to reconnect with someone we've neglected. So tonight, I want to leave you with a question. If the younger version of you met the person you've become today, what would they be proud of? And what would they hope you started doing again? I don't think that younger version of you would expect perfection. I think they just want to know you still remember them. Because here's what I believe. The person you miss isn't gone. She's underneath the stress, underneath the responsibilities, underneath the endless to-do lists, waiting patiently for you to remember that she's still there. Maybe not exactly the same. Maybe wiser. Maybe a little more tired. Maybe with a few more gray hairs. But still there. Still capable of joy, still capable of dreaming, still capable of laughing until your stomach hurts, still worthy of taking up a little space in your own life. Thank you so much for spending these few minutes with me today. If this episode made you think about someone, or maybe helped you remember a part of yourself you've been missing, I'd love for you to follow Life and Bullshyt. It really helps this little podcast reach more people who might need to hear they're not alone. Until next time, be kind to yourself. And this week, do one thing that the old version of you would have smiled about. I'll talk to you next time.